cultures were created by God. He helped societies to have a way of living.
Hi, thank you for coming to our studios, ADL Studio.
Please, no more. No more than needs love. Umfazi liluba lethu emhlabeni sigwaba ngaye. Ligugu lethu sithemba kuye, yebo nguye sithembele kuye.
Camera rolling dala
Came as a result of the coming of HIV/AIDS. Thank you. My name is MMR. I was born and raised in the district of Hwange in Zimbabwe. It is in the northwest of Zimbabwe. Apparently Hwange is the biggest district in Zimbabwe. Yes, what happened is after my secondary school, which I completed informally in Bulawayo, I left for South Africa. Right, I went to South Africa looking to further my education and also look for employment there. So when I went to South Africa, I felt that I upgraded my certificates, the Zimbabweans one. Then I started schooling that side. Or I can say basically my tertiary education was done in South Africa. Right, in South Africa I completed my tertiary education. At the same time I was working. Yes, I was doing quite some good jobs, working as a manager. Then when I completed, I think at the end of 2021, I decided to resign and go back home to Zim. So I returned to Zim at the end of 2021, and I decided to do my private business just in retail, in the retail industry. Yeah, it started very well, but as time went on, the business started to go down. I think it was just because of the economic factors of the country. So early 2024, I can say, at the end of 2023, I decided to migrate to the UK. So I decided, no, let me go to the UK where my wife is staying. So at the moment, I'm currently staying with my wife in the UK. Yes, I started with some awkward jobs, but eventually I think I'll be moving towards what I've been trained and qualified and experienced to do. Culture-wise, isuti banambia. It's the language and the culture which is predominantly in the district of Hwange.
Hello guys, my name is Koi Koi. You're watching Map Productions on YouTube. Please subscribe. Live through the lens, Baba.
Let me say, Banambia has been known to be those people who practice. We've got a unique culture. Tota Mande, Tito Gotana Marida. There are some other things that we do as a nation of Banambia. When we look at that, in some areas they do it a little bit differently. If we look at the not Sangomas, it was Sanas in the Vele Nation, and when we look at Shona, I think they've got something like that as well, where a spirit comes to an individual who is maybe identified by the spirits. So if that particular individual is identified by the spirit, the elders see that person that has got a spirit and it needs to be revealed somehow. So in the process of trying to reveal or to sort of to foretell fortunes of people or problems of people, we normally sort of spend about a week singing and dancing and playing drums, and eventually that person is going to come to a point that now he or she wants to foretell on anybody. It could be an individual, it could be on the nation itself, it could on this the society itself. So that particular person starts, they ask, he will be in the spiritual mood. So the community comes, or individuals come and raise their questions, ask questions, poses questions, and what happens is all the answers come. The spirit will be talking through that particular individual. And that has been happening for quite a long time. Then also, there's something which we call chiperu. Chiperu is where you find that if there's a funeral, maybe my father dies, the way we accompany our father so that he goes and stays with the rest of the ancestors wherever they are, is we do some beer, we brew some beer. After brewing some beer, there's a process that is done, that we are in sort of calling him back. There's a beast is slaughtered, and what we do is we, on the particular day, like I think it's a Friday night, it's a Friday, the whole Friday actually, up to the Monday to Saturday morning. What we do is we sing the whole night, and we sing the whole night. We perform those rituals that are required, where there's a ibere rinotizha nobusukwa, where the hyena, the person which we call the hyena, who runs away with a bucket of traditional beer, and then you find that some men or some women chase after that person, and there's a way as well what we call a kurira, meaning that that person who's dead, he needs to be sort of cried, and in that way we sort of release him. We release him so that at least when he accepts, there's what happens during that process, which we say now that that person is accepted. So that process used to be done, and we used to enjoy it as Nambia. But now, with this emergence emerging of these churches, there are some challenges we are seeing. Nowadays we see there's what they call umduduzo. Umduduzo is something that came, something that is new, that is alien. Yes, we know that.
Sanibonani, lo ngu-APD the boss, ikasi rap artist. Siphathele okumnandi as i-Map Productions. Ungasfollowa ku-YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, kuwo wonke ama-social media uyasithola sikhona. Sikuphathele yonke into emnandi. Thank you.
Umduduzo came as a result of the coming of HIV/AIDS, where we saw nations, the disease being spread throughout. And by that time you could find that when they are doing that chiperu, kana kuti ngechindevere umbuiso, that's the time where they could say a deceased's wife could meet maybe the uncle, dade vakurana vavo mncane kumbe ubaba omdala, taking over the deceased's wife. And in that it used to happen practically, where they could meet, they could be, so in that way there was a spread of diseases. One party could bring a disease, the other one you might find doesn't have a disease, and he has got children. So in that way you found that the trying to avoid marwaji ukugula lokyana, it made people now try to disassociate with the Zuperu, imibuiso liana, and with also the coming of these churches. I tell you, things have changed dramatically, where people now are looking at the focus of Jesus Christ and everything done through Jesus Christ. Yes, we do agree with Jesus Christ, but these cultures, I believe these cultures were brought in by God. The cultures were created by God. He helped societies to have a way of living, to govern themselves. But now when you find that people are just, throwing away their cultures, throwing away their traditions because of this coming out of churches. The churches, I think, they are a threat. While they are a good thing, yes, they are bringing God. I think the churches are a threat to our culture. They are a threat to our tradition. Because really, things were not done systematically. I think also elders are part to blame, because they didn't sit down as a community, as a society, to say, now that there are these challenges we are facing in the community, how best can we deal with the problem? Find a way of transforming from that long traditional, which we realized, yes, it had some risks. They didn't sit down. It was just brought by anybody. Somebody came maybe from Mad South or from other part of Zimbabwe. They just brought that thing. And it was adopted. It was brought individually. That's why nowadays, even when you look at the way they are doing this umduduzo, it's not done, in a standard way. There's no standard. Actually, some do it this way, some do it the other way, some do it. That tells you that there was no sitting down, formally sitting down, addressing the issue as it has come. I think when I look at it, the churches, individualism, disrespecting of the culture itself has brought about the dangers to the culture itself. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mtema Kumalo, Miss Wu. You're watching May Production on YouTube. Please subscribe.
It's a beautiful country. Yes, the climate there, when you look at the weather, it's very hot, especially in the northern part. It's very hot. Some areas have got rains. Some areas, like where I come from, in the district of Wange, it's not. It's very hot and it's dry. The rains there, they are very scarce. You find that you get rains maybe 2 to 3 months in a year. So it's all difficult. It's very, very dry. I tell you, it's very dry. And we scramble to get water there. And sometimes you come out with these new ways of getting water, like drilling boreholes. You might find that you don't get the water itself. It's very difficult. You might be lucky that you drill a borehole and you get water. Sometimes you find it in an average of 80 meters deep, and sometimes even if you get that one, you find it's not sustaining the community. So it's really difficult in that part of the area. Temperature-wise, yes, when you are new there in that area, you battle to adapt. It needs us. The people come from there, and yeah, we grow up there in that heat, and we are used to it. And you could see most of the community there, they are, dark colored because of the temperatures. Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't mean that they are ugly. They are so beautiful. That's where Black is beautiful came from. It came from our district, because actually we are black and we are beautiful. We are black because of the temperatures there. They are too high. Yeah. But going back to South Africa, when I look at it, yes, I can say predominantly most of my life was in South Africa. And South Africa, it's a cool place, if I can put it like that. It becomes hot sometimes, occasionally, but more or less it's a good place to live in. The temperatures are cool, and when you look at I think I've adapted well. Yes, there are some things like crime, which is a little bit higher than what we see in Zim. I think because of the population or the number of people who are living there, South Africa is quite risky to live in. In Zim, sometimes, when you live in Zim, you can walk around singing, going drinking, coming out, drinking and singing. There's no problem, except in some parts of the areas. But in South Africa, it's a little bit very bad. But temperature-wise, I think it's good. It's a good place to live in. Coming to the UK, who I tell you, UK, it's very cold. You need to really adapt to the weather. This side is very cold. It is advanced in many things, like technology-wise. The standard of living here, it's in the UK is quite good. It's quite competitive. They actually follow technology. They live with technology, and everything basically is done electronically. Things are much faster. They flow very quickly. You look at their transport logistics, they're excellent. You look at their internet is quite good. You look at jobs are available. The world, the rule of law, they abide to it. They like it. Actually, they enjoy it. They embrace it so much. So unlike cleanliness, unlike in other countries like South Africa and Zim, but particularly South Africa, where you find that somebody can just sneak around the corner, here in the UK, you can't say that. People are so clean, they are responsible. Let me put responsible citizens. They know litter is thrown into the right place, they walk in the right place, everything. Of course, there are some, minor cases, but when we look at their culture of embracing technology, embracing responsibleness, I believe the UK is the best. Other than their weather, I think all is cool in this country. Right. Life-wise, I think as people, let's just embrace what is available to us. Let me make some comparisons. We were born into this world. So are animals and plants. When you look at animals, let's look at animals. Look at impalas, look at lions, look at jackals, whatever. You see that impalas or buffaloes or whatever, those are herbivores that just are there just to satisfy a carnivore like a lion and a leopard. So they don't stop living because they know they are going to be eaten. No. They still survive. They still give birth. They still thrive. They still enjoy life. Just like us people. Let's just enjoy life. There are challenges in life. life challenges, educational, healthy challenges, whatever. But that doesn't stop the clock. Let's continue living. Let's embrace, let's accept what is available in front of us and live and go forward. You face a challenge, deal with the challenge. You succeed dealing with that challenge. You succeed and you continue. You get another one, you succeed and you continue. That's how life should be. So in life, accept what is in front of you. As it is in front of you, continue, deal with the challenge. Cross that bridge when you are there. So when you encounter a problem, deal with the problem. After dealing with the problem, life goes on. So don't regret anything. Things were done to be like that. There are some that are higher, some that are lower, some that are, all sorts of strengths can be associated to individuals. Don't care about those ones. Whatever has been given to you, survive on that. Live on that. You will find some strength in whatever you have. And that's why you normally see a small animal like a porcupine defeating a lion, because the porcupine is using its strength, the one that it was given by God. The lion with all the mighty powers and everything, but it gets simply defeated by a porcupine. Why? Because a porcupine believes in the strength that it was given by God. So as people, let's not look at others. Yes, we may collaborate, we may network, we may copy from others, but to your advantage. So look, introspect into yourself and look at the strengths you've got and use those strengths to survive, and you will survive. Looking at the young ones nowadays, the young ones are looking at the current affairs. There are no jobs, therefore I can't go to school. If I go to school, it's just a waste of money. I should have diverted that money to do some other things, maybe start a business. I would say to the young ones, study, study, and study. It's very, very important to be empowered in mind than to be empowered in the hands. You get something in the hands, in a couple of years or in a couple of months, it will be lost. But you get empowered in the head, you are empowered forever. So to the young ones, I appeal to you that please go to school, go to colleges, study, study, and study. Acquire as much knowledge and as much experience as you can, because in you we trust. You are the future. You are, if you compare yourself, especially the young ones of Zimbabwe and Africa as a whole, if you compare yourself to some young ones in China and to some young ones in first world countries like America, you find that you are way behind in terms of technology, in terms of research and development. So what stops you? I think what I can say to you, while you need to disassociate yourself in politics, seek from the government things like the internet, things like free Wi-Fi or something like that, things like books where you are going to read, and when you read you are going to know, and when you know you are going to transform. So it's extremely very important that you stay connected to the whole world. You need to research through the internet. You need to research and collaborate with some other ones. That's how all the nations, the young ones of all nations thrive. They thrive through research. They thrive through experiments. And when are you doing that? So, put all your energy into research. Ask from whoever, whether it's your local council, whether it's your government, whether it's your whoever, ask for access to internet, access to books, access to the library. That is going to assist you a lot. Don't compare yourself and judge and say, okay, because there won't be jobs, why should I go to school? Okay, my brother is not working, he has got a degree. No. Keep on studying. And I tell you, nowadays the strength is in the education, not in anything else. Thank you. Then I completed my tertiary education at the same time while working.
Pause.
Ngiyayizwa ifoni. Ngifake silent, alright. Awuchayizizwe ukuthi ithini ngenzele ukuthi ungarecord.
Ngiyarekhoda mntana vele soze angilukuzele
Boy testing. Ufake ku testing kumbe?
Hayi sarekhoda mntana.
Sesirekhoda.
Sesirekhoda la mntana.
Alright. Athi ngifake nani ku silent.
Salibonani, hello, alinjani, makadi. This is Nkosi Sibanda, NKOCY CBANDA. Udawudi una uvodloza umhlathi ngethilwa yithambo ubhonga bathithibani. Kodwa ke namhlanje angizange ngizobhonga kuthithibani ngoba ngiliphathele indaba ezimnandi kakhulu. You are watching Map Productions right here on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow them on their social media platforms. Just like the video. One heart won't hurt. From me, I say toodaloos and goodbye.